Minecraft 1.8.9 hacked client. In this video, we're going to be creating combat modules. We're going to be making a FastBow, an AutoSword, and a Killaura. So let's go ahead and get right into it. In our module class, in our impl class, or package, make a new package named combat. We're going to be making FastBow first, so FastBow. Let's add the module info. Name equals FastBow. Description equals shoot faster. And category is equal to category.combat. Extends module. And this one is probably going to be the most simple one. We're just going to override on update and say if mc.theplayer.getItemInUse does not equal null and mc.theplayer.getItemInUse.getItem instance of item bow and mc.theplayer.getItemInUseDuration is equal to 16, then we can just say int I equals 0 while I is less than 5, mc.theplayer.sendQ.addToSendQ new C03 packet player true, then I++, mc.theplayer.sendQ.addToSendQ new C07 packet player digging C03 packet player digging dot action dot release underscore use underscore item comma block pause dot origin comma enum facing dot down, and then mc not the player dot stop using item. Okay, that is all for FastBow. It's that simple. So now we're gonna make an AutoSword. This one also isn't too bad. So AutoSword at module info name equals AutoSword. Description equals automatically switches to the best sword in your inventory. The category is going to be combat, obviously. It extends our module class. On update, I'm just going to... Should I put this in a separate method? Yeah, I'll put this in a separate method. Okay. Get best weapon, which we're going to make right now. Just pass in null. Public void get best weapon entity float damage modifier is equal to 0 int new item equals -1 for int slot I for int slot equals 0 if slot is less than 9 slot ++, then item stack equals mc.theplayer.inventory.main inventory, and then the array of slot. If stack equals null, then we'll continue. If stack.getItem is instance of an item sword, not stack, sword equals item sword. Stack.getItem float damage equals to sword.getMax damage plus sword.has effect stack. If that's true, get enchant damage versus entity, which we're going to make in just a second. Stack pass an entity, else we'll just say 0. If damage is greater than or equal to damage modifier, new item equals slot, damage modifier equals damage. And then after the for loop, if new item is greater than -1, mc.theplayer.inventory.current item equals new item. So we're going to check the get enchant damage versus entity because maybe a sword will have smite, maybe the sword will have smite, maybe it'll have sharpness. So we want to check for that. So public int get enchant damage versus entity, item stack, not sword, item stack, and entity. If entity instance of entity zombie or entity instance of entity pig zombie or entity instance of entity skeleton, return enchantment helper dot get enchant level enchantment dot no, just enchantment dot sharpness, I can't spell, dot sharpness dot effect ID, comma item stack plus enchant helper to get enchant level, enchantment dot smite dot effect ID, comma item stack, else if entity instance of entity spider, return enchantment helper dot get enchant level, enchantment dot sharpness dot effect ID, comma item stack plus enchantment helper dot get enchant level, enchantments dot bane of arthropods dot effect ID, comma item stack. Else we'll just say return enchantment helper dot get enchant level, enchantment dot sharpness dot effect ID, comma item stack. Great, so AutoSword and FastBow are done. So I'm going to test these out before we get into Killaura. Alright, so I'm going to enable full bright. There we go. So now we can see. Let's clear my inventory. Let's get a few swords. So let's get a wooden sword, diamond sword, iron sword, why not? Let's get a pig, why not? There we go. Let's turn on AutoSword. Okay. And yep, it automatically switched to the sword we want to use. So now if we get a bow, it should automatically shoot for us and faster than usual. Yep, there we go. Works perfectly. You can make it shoot however fast you want, but for me, I mean, this feels fine. Yeah, it feels fine to me. It's faster than vanilla, but it's not likely to be detected by many anti-cheats. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into Killaura. This one is going to be a lot of math, honestly, and it's going to be a long class, so let's just go ahead and get it over with. So name equals Killaura. I don't feel like writing a description. People should know what that does. Extends module. There we go. And I'm going to add a lot of settings to this because I want the Killaura to be as customizable as possible. So private final boolean setting players equals new boolean setting players comma true. Just copy this down a bunch. Passive mobs teams invisible and no swing, and just delete this one. Let's set no swing to, actually let's probably rename these first. So passive mobs teams invisible and no swing. I'm going to set no swing to false, invisible to false, teams to false, mobs to false, and passive to false. Make a few more settings. Private final number setting range equals new number setting range. Let's have the default at 4.0, the minimum at 1.0, the maximum let's do 14.0, in the increment of 0.1. Copy that down. We'll do rotation speed and delay. So delay, rotation speed. Let's have the default for rotation speed be 30. Have the minimum at 1, the maximum at 180, and the increment of, let's do 1, why not? Delay, this will be in milliseconds, so I'm just going to put in ms here. So let's have the default at 50, minimum at, let's do 20, maximum, let's do 500, and an increment of maybe 25. Or should probably have this as a 25 then. Let's do one more of a mode. So private final mode setting, mode equals new mode setting, mode, and then the modes can be single, switch, and multi. Great, so that's all the settings we're going to add. So public Killaura. Let's set the default keybind first. So keyboard.key_k. And add settings, we'll do players, passive, mobs, teams, invisible, no swing, range, rotation speed, delay, and mode. There we go. I'm actually going to make a few variables first. So private entity living base current target equals null. private list of entity living base targets equals new array list. Private int target index equals 0. And private long last attack time equals 0. Now we'll do on update. We'll make a method called find targets, which we'll go ahead and probably do that now. So private void find targets, targets.clear, list entity entities equals mc.theworld.loaded entity list. For entity out of entities, if entity instance of entity living base and entity does not equal mc.theplayer and not entity.is dead, entity living base target equals entity living base entity. If mc.theplayer.get distance to entity target is less than or equal to the range.get val. If should attack, which we'll make in just a second after this, target targets.add target. Let's go make the should attack. So private boolean should attack entity living base target. If target instance of entity player, if not players.is state, return false. If not teams.is state and is on same team target, return false. We'll also make that in just a second. If target, we should have to end up. If target instance of entity animal and not passive.is state, return false. If target instance of iMob, I don't know why they named it iMob, and not mobs.is state, return false. If not invisible.is state and target.is invisible, return false. And if all of those don't return false, return true. Now let's make the is on same team. Private boolean is on same team. Entity living base target. Return mc.theplayer dot get team does not equal null, and target.get team does not equal null, and mc.theplayer that is not the player that is on same team target. Alright, now let's go back into on update and just say if mode.get current mode equals ignore, I guess we can do equals ignore case single, else if mode.get current mode equals ignore case switch, else if mode.get current mode equals ignore case multi. And now let's make new methods inside of these. So handle single, handle switch, handle multi. We'll make the single one first. So no, let's put these right below on update. Private void handle single. If not targets.is empty. Current target equals targets.get the first index in that. If current target does not equal null, you could probably do this better. You could check for the closest entity with the least amount of health, or the closest one, but no, I'm not going to. If face entity, which we'll make in just a second, current target, rotation speed dot get val. If can attack, which we'll also make in just a second, attack entity, current target, last attack time equals system dot current time millis. Now let's make these three methods. Alright, so I guess let's start in order. So face entity, this one's gonna be a long one. So private boolean face entity entity, and double speed. Double diff x equals entity.pause x minus mc.thePlayer.pause x. Just copy that down. Diff y, diff z, pause y, pause z, and pause y, pause z. Actually, let's refactor this diff y. I just thought of a better way to do it. So entity.pause y plus entity.get I height minus mc.thePlayer.pause y plus mc.thePlayer.get I height. That's probably a better way to do it, because you probably want to be aiming at their head. Then double dist xz equals math.square root diff x times diff x plus diff z times diff z. Float target yaw equals float math.2degree, not 2 degrees, math.atan2 diff z diff x minus 90.0f. Did I miss a parentheses? Oh, there we go. Float target pitch equals, cast it to a float, negative math.2 degrees, math.atan2 diff y and diff z. And then float there we go. Cur yaw equals mc.thePlayer.cur.yaw, rotation yaw. Float cur pitch equals mc.thePlayer.rotation pitch. Float yaw, okay, separate lines is fine. Float yaw diff equals wrap angle, which we'll again just make in a second. Target yaw minus cur yaw. Float pitch difference equals wrap angle target pitch minus cur pitch. Let's go ahead and make these wrap angles before we proceed. So private float wrap angle, float angle, angle percent equals, to get the remainder, 360.0f. If angle is greater than or equal to 180 f, angle minus equals 360.0f. If angle is less than negative 180.0f, angle plus equals 360.0f, and then return angle, because we don't want them to just be going in really unnatural positions. And then float rotation step is equal to float speed. Boolean yaw complete equals false. Boolean pitch complete equals false. If math.absolute yaw difference is greater than rotation step, yaw difference is equal to yaw difference is greater than 0. If that's true, rotation step, else negative rotation step, else yaw complete equals true. If math.absolute pitch difference is greater than rotation step, pitch difference equals pitch difference greater than 0. If that's true, rotation step, otherwise negative rotation step, just like we did above. Then else pitch complete equals true. MC.thePlayer.rotation yaw plus the, not just rotation yaw, plus equals yaw difference. MC.thePlayer.rotation pitch plus equals pitch difference. Honestly, you probably don't even need the space entity. You don't need that to work, but a lot of servers are going to detect if you hit an entity and you're looking nowhere close to them. So this is probably you should probably do it. I know it's a lot of math, but you should probably do it. And then finally, turn yaw complete and pitch complete. There we go. So now we have to, what else do we have to make here? Can attack, so let's go ahead and do that. So private boolean can attack, long time equals system.current time millis, return time minus the last attack time is greater than delay.getVal. What else is there? Just attack entity. Alright, that's pretty simple. Private void attack entity. Entity living base entity. If not, no swing dot is state mc dot the player dot swing item, because, you know, if they have no swing on, we don't want to swing the item. mc dot player controller dot attack entity mc dot the player and entity. All right, what are these two errors up here? All right, we have to make a handle switch and handle multi. Now, luckily, we can mainly just copy this here. That's actually what I'm probably gonna do. So copy that down for handle switch. Now we just have to do the logic. So if not, targets dot is empty. If target index is greater than or equal to targets dot size, target index equals 0. So actually put that on the same line. There we go. Current target equal target index, and then we'll just say target index plus plus. All right, that's all for handle switch. Now copy it down for handle multi, and we're just going to delete those lines and say for entity living base target out of targets. We can just copy that down, paste that in, and there we go. Now that should be Killaura done. That was a long class. So I'm going to go and test it and see if it works. Alright, so let's enable Killaura. Let's turn on passive. Let's turn up the range a bit. Let's turn down this rotation speed, because just see if that works. And we'll turn the delay up to maybe 100 milliseconds. And single is fine. So let's get our pig. And there we go. Killaura is automatically attacking the entity. And if I was to look over here, you can see it slowly rotates. The rotation is really slow, just because I set it really slow. So let's go ahead and increase that a whole bunch. Let's do maybe 50. Let's set the delay down to 25. Let's see if no swing works. Yep, no swing works. I would assume mobs, teams, and invisible work. And let's test out multi now. That does not work. Alright, we'll fix that in just a bit. Will those switch work? Okay. It works, but the camera goes all weird. You can fix that if you want. I'm not going to. But let's see why multi isn't working. Alright, so I'm just very silly and made a typo. So multi. There we go. Now I'm pretty sure it would work. Alright, so now's this video done. In the next video, we'll probably be creating a notification system, as well as possibly a main menu. So I'll see you then.